Now, let's do one of the famous hacks. This is a real hack. On 4chan, these guys made a contract called PoWHCoin, which was just a Ponzi scheme where they would just pay out interest from the new people investing. And they said, this is just a joke. Nobody would put any real money in it. But people did put $800,000 in it, almost $1 million. And in addition to just being a Ponzi scheme, it had a security flaw. So somebody hacked it and stole the $800,000. And one of the amazing things about the blockchain is that everything you're doing is public. So if you hack it, anybody can go look on the blockchain and see what you did and learn how to do it. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to set up this PoWHCoin in Remix. So this is the real PoWHCoin source code. It's on GitHub. It's public information. So I can go to raw and just copy this whole thing, hundreds of lines of solidity, and I can deploy it locally in my Remix. So I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to make it. Now, the official name they used, I don't think I need to use the same name, but it was PoWHCoin. Proof of work, I think. Let's see. I'll check my instructions. Here. PoWHCoin, yep. All right. So I put that, it looks like I already had one. So I'm going to delete this one. Going to go back, I'll delete that one, I'll go back to this one. I'm just going to clear out the code and put in the code fresh. Okay, see 306 glorious codes of contract, lines of contract. Now I go here and compile it. And I get 21 warnings, but no errors, because this is, got some flaws. There's all the warnings, but who cares? I don't care. So now I've got this old stuff I deployed for the last project. To get rid of that, I'm just going to move from London to Berlin, and then back to London. And that will get me a fresh, clean blockchain with nothing on it. Now I can deploy here, deploying Ponzi token v3. There it is. And now I have things I can do down here. Quite a few buttons. It has a lot of functions. So let me go to my instructions. All right. So we got deployed. All right. And there's the methods. All right, so we've already talked about how the blockchain works. Now we're going to fund it. So we're going to use the, we're going to send 50 Ether into the red fund button. So let's do that. I think I can close this tab for now, make my life a little less confusing. All right, so there's the fund button. So I'm going to give it 50 Ether from the first account. The first account has just under 100 because I spent a little bit to deploy the contract. So now I'm going to send 50 Ether into here with fund. That worked. So now my balance is 87. Somehow I didn't send 50. Something's a little funny about this thing. I'm getting weird numbers. It seemed to only send 12 Ether. All right. The second time that's happened to me. So I sent 12 the first time. I'd send 38 to get up to 50, right? If I send 38, tab. All right, let's see if this works. Now I fund. Now the balance goes up to 50. Okay, something's a little goofy here. That number's changed on me a couple times just from scrolling around. But anyway, we'll charge ahead. So I send in 50 Ether. You can see my balance has fallen to 49. Now I'm going to fund 1 Ether from the second account. So there are 2 investors in this thing. So this is the first account that has invested 50. The second account is going to invest 1, or so I hope. Maybe I was hitting this by accident or something. Anyway, 1 Ether, fund. Okay, now the balance is 51, so things are working. All right, now I'm going to transfer. Now the way transferring works, you approve a withdrawal by the account, then you perform a withdrawal from an account into account number 3. And so we want to transfer 1 Ether from account number 2 to account number 3 with these steps. Now, I'm just going to review. We're going to do, right, this is the hack. See, I'll explain what happens here. There's a process. You approve a withdrawal, you perform the withdrawal into another account. Now we're going to hack the machine and steal all the contract now. And the way it works is, first you approve a withdrawal from by account number 3. So you select the third account to get the account number. Now you go to account number 2 and approve. Okay, let me see if I can get this right. I just have to be a little careful. It's easy to get confused. So get the number for account number 3, which has not been used in this contract yet. Okay, now go back to account number 2, and I want to do approve a withdrawal. I think it's approve up here. Okay, approve spender and amount. Now let me go back to here. Okay, copy the third account number in the clipboard. Approve spender, okay, so the copied address in the spender and one into the value. All right, and what I'm doing here is I'm approving to subtract 1 from the third account. And is it really 1? It's 1. Okay, good. All right. Now, do I think I do this transaction? Yep. Okay. Okay, and it works. So I've now approved withdrawing from account number 3, or withdrawing from 2 into 3. So now I'm going to check the balance of number 3. It's just on my clipboard, and I have a balance of function here. So if I check it, the balance is 0, because all I did was say I'm allowed to move 1 coin from account 2 to account 3, but I haven't done that yet. Now we perform the attack. And the attack goes like this. Normally, you now transfer funds from the contract into account number 3, but what we're going to do is trick it into subtracting funds from an empty account, because of the flaw in the machine. So the way it works is, make sure we have selected account number 2 up here, which we have. Copy account number 2, and go to transfer from and make that the from field. So I go up here, account number 2 is this one with 99, so I copy that. Now I go to transfer from, which is someplace down here. There, this is transfer from. So I have to expand it. There we are. So the from address is from number 2. Okay, and that's E, and I think it actually, okay, AB, I think it is the second address though. Okay, good. So the exact addresses don't copy from my instructions, but it doesn't matter. Now, I want to put in a value of 1. Now, I want to send to the third account. Okay. So transfer from, I'm going to minimize the ones I'm not using. Okay, transfer from to value 1. I want to send it to the third account. Copy that. Okay. Okay. Now, if I run it this way, it's going to do what I expect. Go from account 2 into account number 3, 1 value. But what you do now is you go back and go to the third account up here. This is the trick. Instead of running this as the second account, I run it as the third account, selected here. So it's going, this is the one that's going to pay the ether, the third account, to send the money from the second account to the third account. And if I've done it right, the third account will end up with all the money. So let's see if I might have fouled it up. We're going to try it. Do a transaction. Okay, something happened. Now I'm going to get see how much money is in the third account by copying it here. And now go to balance of old. Okay, and I just moved 1, so I fouled it up somehow. I'm going to have to try it again. Let me put these instructions on my other screen so I can see them while I'm out flipping back and forth. And I'll get this to work, because the third account will end up with an infinite amount of money if I do this right. So let me just try again. Let me shrink this a bit so it'll fit. All right, so now, approve a withdrawal, select the third account. Okay, I think I've done that. Okay, this is the third account. Copy the account number. I get approval withdrawal. It's very easy to foul this up. I've done this a bunch of times, but it's very easy to get snarled up. Now, approve spender in value. The spender is the third account. Oh. No, the spender should be the second account. All right. I've copied account number 3. Now select account number 2. Okay. Come on. Okay, copy account number 3. Now select account number 2. Okay, now go down here and put in account number 3 down there and put 1 in. Okay, then transact, I think. All right. Now I check the balance of account number 3, which is, I think, what's in my clipboard. And balance of old is somewhere. Here it is. Okay. All right, and it's got 1 because I sent 1 there by accident, but it doesn't have any more. Now, I realize I'm in trouble. I'm going to have to approve another one. I'm going to approve a transfer of 2 here, because since my balance is actually 1, I'm going to have to subtract 2. So I'm going to approve this one. All right. Got reverted. All right. I may give up trying to demonstrate this live. I'm having too much trouble with these machines here. Anyway, the point is, if you get it right, which I have fouled up, you'll have to be more careful than I was, then the point is you end up subtracting 1 from this account that was empty, and it rolls over to an infinite number. This is one of the many incredible flaws of this thing. This language solidity, your integers roll over. So if you subtract 1 from 0, it moves to 2 to the 256 minus 1, which is this ridiculous number. So your account balance goes up to infinity, which is insane for anything that's supposed to use money. Right? It's incredibly amazing that this language is used for smart contracts, but it is what's used for all the smart contracts. And this is just one of its many flaws, is integer overflow. So anyway, you can see the flaw. The flaw happens here. In line, this function makes sure that a transfer is no larger. If allowance is less than or equal to value, then revert. This is the allowed amount of money you have. The amount that was permitted, it checks to make sure that's okay, and then it uses transfer tokens to send the money. Now, I was supposed to insert the contract address somewhere in that contract. That's what I somehow failed to do in my demonstration here. But the point is, you can fix it by just adding something here. The trick is, I sent to the contract address. And that's, if I'd done that correctly, and that's what confuses it. And this is one of the many ways to screw up your program. There are 2 ways to do the same thing. There is a fund button, which you use to invest in the contract. And then there is a transfer from button, and you can use the transfer from and put in the address of the contract. And when you do that, it tries to reuse code and gets it snarled up. So it ends up with 3 addresses: the from address, the to address, and the address that's paying the gas. And the function that is used doesn't understand that there are 3 addresses, and you can confuse it about which address to subtract the money from. Anyway, that's the essence of what happened. And I sort of snarled that one up, but I think I'm not going to struggle with it anymore tonight because the other ones are easier. This one is actually a more complicated flaw, but important because it really happened. Anyway, let me stop this one.